You're listening to the worldwide leader of Real Talk, A2DRadio.com.
The long night continues. Welcome in, Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
A2DRadio.com, live from the BMW of Atlantic City studios. Why even buy the cars? Don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your time buying cars. That's how I feel tonight. Don't even buy them. Don't even buy them. Great people, don't even buy the car. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. I might lose every sponsor ever for saying this right now, but don't even waste your money. Go get yourself a Honda, a Nissan. Go see my boy Steve Shaw. For Lincoln Mercury.
I mean, you can lease a car. You can lease it.
Or take your money to our favorite accountant and invest that shit.
BMW Atlantic City off exit 37 in the Parkway. Find them online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. All jokes. Every Wednesday night, we're brought to you by our certified public accountant. Make them yours. Gibson Mayer, LLC. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com. Tom Renault, Michael Mataraki, Greg Moakovic, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. Later on, we'll talk a little MLB All Star Game. Less than 2 weeks away. What Philly makes it? We'll get into that. That should be exciting. I mean, you want to talk about a riveting conversation, something that really makes you feel good. That's going to be that conversation later on. That's why we save it to later. Right? With both Sixers and Flyers, both making aggressive moves, get back into the first round. Get back in the first round after making overall top 2 selections. Which team is closer to competing for a championship? Talk about that later on. We'll discuss the NBA annual awards, now televised. And the GOAT, Russ, MVP, we'll get into that. Giannis, most improved. Eric Gordon, 6-man, Draymond defensive. D'Antoni, coach of the year. All NBA defensive team, rookie of the years, which ties into our boys who got snubbed. We'll talk a little snubbish as we move forward here. And we'll talk Brogdon obviously winning rookie of the year.
Oh, shit.
And we'll just get into how the NBA still hates the Sixers, even though you're the one who put people in place here. You're the one who ran the GOAT, Hank, out of town. You ran him out.
It's true.
Okay? And now you're going to then not give it to one of our guys? Now, I understand, Joel, but the numbers in 31 games are off the goddamn charts. Plain and simple. So, but I'll get that for the 31 games. But because how do you not give it to Dario if you look at the last 41 splits? We'll get into this in a little bit. But we got to talk about our poll question, our main topic at hand, and it's the 2018 NBA Rookie of the Year. Who will it be? Ben? Markelle Fultz? Lonzo? Or JJ, your boy, Josh Jackson? Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. A2D Radio is where you can find us. And that is brought to you by Scanzano Sports. Find them on the web, ScanzanoSports.com.
Nice product placement right
there.
Yeah.
Well, you as well, sir.
Me too.
You as well. Rock, can you juice me on mine? like on my headset. I didn't give myself enough juice. Now I feel like starting to feel I think I'm 2. Yeah, because I screwed that up.
Can you juice me on mine?
As
if you don't have enough juice right now.
I'm just talking a little MLB juice.
All right.
Talk MLB
Little Barry
on.
Bonds.
A little Barry Bonds Gatorade?
Little Mark McGuire.
All right, boys. So who will be the NBA Rookie of the Year?
Well, this is the problem. This whole thing has just turned into a freaking farce now. Because I'd love to say either Ben Simmons or Markelle Fultz, and if I have to put money on it today, I'm going to say Ben Simmons because he could probably average close to a triple-double. But here's the thing. I feel like no matter what these two kids do next year, they're going to get snubbed. Because there's no way in hell Malcolm Brogdon, and I will screw that up 12 times tonight.
It's okay.
That's fine.
He is what he is.
There's no way that guy was the Rookie of the Year. I mean, number one, the numbers were pedestrian at best. Okay, nice season. Nice season for a rookie. You got the Greek Freak finding you for layups and dunks for the entire season. And it wasn't even like he was the second option on that team. Now, he became the second option later on due to some injuries. But at the start of the season, he's the third option on that team. Sixers go into the season. Joel's number 1. And Dario, when he comes off the bench, winds up becoming 1A. So explain to me how neither of these two guys, and again, to your point, I get the Embiid point with 31 games played. But even if you take half of the vote that you would have sent to Embiid and send it to Dario, like, it's beyond me how Malcolm Brogdon could somehow get at least 40% of the first and second place votes and win Rookie of the Year. Bottom line is every single ballot that was cast should have been Dario, Embiid, Brogdon. Or, worst case scenario, Dario, Brogdon, Embiid if you're going to penalize Joel for the games played. There's no way that Brogdon should have won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think it's Ben as well. If my choice on here is Ben, just because, he almost had that redshirt year. Yeah, he wasn't as active, being injured, but I think he's going to get penalized for that because they're going to say, oh, he's not a true rookie because he was hurt all year. But it's the same point, though. He's going to end up getting penalized because although he is technically a rookie, he's not. And then, yes, when you throw the NBA in it, the now primetime show on ESPN or probably where it was where I didn't watch it, and then you throw the LA factor in there, you got to figure Lonzo's going to be in that discussion, whether he deserves to be or not. Because Papa Bear is going to be touting it. He's going to be touting it on the rooftops just like he did everything else. So my pick is also Ben, but for the same reasons that you mentioned, I don't think it's going to be him, despite what I think is going to be a phenomenal season for him.
I just don't understand how. I mean, I get that it's not a fan poll. It's voted on by the writers and the national broadcasters. All of the local broadcasters don't even get a vote anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's fine if that's how they want to play the game. Adam Silver can take it and shove it up his ass. Mm-hmm. But I just, I get that there's teams out there that just want to see the process fail. And it's bothering them to no end that the process is not only not failing, but is going to succeed.
And work to a T.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can pick out moves here and moves there that might not have worked exactly how, maybe in our favor or the way Sam wanted it. But the entire process has worked out to be exactly what it is. And the way you build is through the draft, and you have to get lucky. And we ended up getting lucky when we dropped to 3 and drafted Joel. And then we traded and got Saric instead of Peyton. And then, obviously, Ben and now Markelle. We got lucky with that Saric and Embiid draft. We got lucky that those two guys were as good or are as good as they are.
Agreed.
And that's and to your point, the NBA hates that this is working, and it's working so well that even Brian Colangelo can't screw it up. He can't screw it up. It was worked so well. He could throw draft picks to second rounders and trade them all over the board. Even he couldn't screw it up.
No,
it was put together so perfectly.
You're right, but here's the thing, and I'll just look straight in the camera. Adam Silver, you did this. You allowed super teams. And the only way that you can combat a super team is to either create a super team yourself or tank for 3, 4, 5 years so that you get high draft picks year after year after year so that you can create your super team internally. He did this.
Yeah.
The league did this. The league caused the tank. And if they think that other teams aren't going to pick up on this and start doing the same thing, they're ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. And this is how it's going to play out from now on. You're going to have an NBA that is very top-heavy, very bottom-heavy, and your, call it 6, 7, 8 playoff seeds, and the first 2 or 3 teams that missed the playoffs are all going to be interchangeable. It's going to be like a belt going around the body of the NBA, and everybody's either going to be up top or down at the bottom.
You know, and Tommy, you mentioned this in your video when you went, when Adam Silver was on the Dan Patrick Show mentioning that the lottery is flawed.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no duh.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you try and not give the worst teams the best pick.
Yeah, it's trying to get cute.
Yeah.
It's trying to get cute. Well, you can't just be bad. We don't allow you just to be bad, right? Because we consider anybody who's bad or not good enough is an automatic tank. No, sometimes you're just bad. And I hear people argue with me all the time. Well, the Cleveland Browns get high picks all the time. That's fine. They don't hit on them.
Right.
But every NBA team that's bad deserves wherever they're slotted. Okay? So if you want to do it up until, the last 2 months of the year and that's your cut, and whoever's the worst sends the worst, I'll buy into that one too. Okay? So the last 2 months you can't tank, like they like to say. So do something like that. But the worst team deserves the best pick. It's that simple. And if you look back at Hinkie and what the Sixers did, well, you're talking about getting Wiggins. You're talking about for all these years, considering you'd be bad again.
Carl Anthony Towns.
These guys, and things would be different. Now, I love the situation we're in, but
we remember winless for Wiggins.
yeah, it was that's where the party all started.
And that's where I think a lot of, haters of the Hinkie method, especially outside of this area who didn't buy into it, was it all predicated on that lottery. Just because we sucked didn't mean we were getting the first pick. So there was some luck involved, and the length of the process was because of the lack of getting that first-round pick. Because it's a totally different process if we have a superstar like Wiggins. Now, if we have a superstar like Wiggins, we don't have JoJo. Now, obviously, hindsight being 2020, I think we like where we're at right now. And I think if you look at the rest of the bottom teams in the NBA, your Lakers, your Nets, your Knicks, Timberwolves.
We'll put the Nets back down because they just trade all their first.
But those bottom feeders, who would you rather be? The team that straight up said, NBA, we know what you're doing, and we're gonna make our process to fight what your plan is, or would you rather be the Lakers who have no or have a future, but because they got lucked into the second pick? Would you rather be the Nets who have no picks and have no future, the Knicks who are a cluster right now after Phil Jackson, and the Timberwolves are all young, but they don't have a coach to lead them yet?
I think Phil goes to LA in some capacity. Don't be surprised.
Possible.
Don't be surprised if you see that. If he does land somewhere, and Magic show.
Yeah.
But just as a guy who doesn't want to work a lot, does a little bit of work just to help.
$50,000 a day to sleep.
So he could do some things there. But some people chiming in, and I'm going to give who I think is going to Rookie of the Year too. Bob Hartman, the entire award show was a joke, by the way, no question about it. Mike Lipinski, any thoughts on Carmella winning the MITB twice in 1 week?
That's a wrestling reference.
Yeah, I don't,
Lame.
Rob Ryan, sorry. Send Okafor to work the concession stands. Jarrell.
Let's get back on topic, people.
Jarrell, Okafor could be good. He could be an 18-8 guy, all right. Sean Spielman, you can't trade Okafor. Yeah, I agree with that. Sean Spielman, I don't know why you're rocking the KD pantyhose, because I was working. A lot of things went on tonight. Didn't get a chance to get changed. All right, these are comfortable, by the way. If you haven't tried them, put them on, and you'll see where I'm coming from, and you won't take them off. Jarrell Simmons, Fultz, Dario, Okafor, and Embiid is giving his 5 out. Let's see if anybody's got anything to say. Vinny agrees with us. The lottery sucks. What else we got? All right, they're arguing with each other. Brian Wilson, who's most likely a Sixer next year? I don't know if he's asking that question. who is most likely going to still be a Sixer. I don't know.
J.J. Redick. I think he's
In
I
what
think,
terms?
I think he's their top target.
In a guys who are currently on the roster who will be traded, or guys that are free agents that are targets?
Well, he can
So
answer
we'll
that.
get into that.
We'll
But
also come back.
who I think, to our poll question, who I think is going to win Rookie of the Year, I think it's Fultz. And I'll tell you why. Lonzo, you can make the case if, L.A., they would want to give it to Magic, get back to the HIV situation. Or, I don't think Josh Jackson, to me, is going to win it. I don't think he's going to be good enough right away.
And not in Phoenix.
And, not there. And, Ben does a lot of things well. But I think when a guy comes in who I think he's going to be, and a guy who can drop 20 a night right off the bat and in his sleep, and that's just who I think Fultz is, I think that's why he's going to get it. Because I think he's going to come on the scene, and scoring matters to the league, and he's going to score more than Ben.
Well, if scoring matters, then they messed up with JoJo.
Well, I think just because he's now just drafted,
yeah.
I think it's going to play a part with him and Ben
Right.
on why I think if Fultz has a good, if not better year, it's him. But if they have even years, I think it's Fultz. So if they both have they both have good years. Well, you're going to give it to Fultz because he's the pure rookie.
Because he's the actual rookie.
Going back to the point that we were talking about earlier, though, you know what Hinkie's biggest mistake was in this whole process? That he was honest. Because here's the thing. You look at Minnesota right now. Minnesota's got Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, Ricky Rubio, and now Jimmy Butler. Tell me that they didn't have a process in mind. They didn't do it the same way the Sixers did it, but they manipulated the hell out of that system. I mean, they wound up getting a number 1 overall pick, for Kevin Love, because Love wanted out of Minnesota so that he could go form a super team. Oh, there's that term again, super team. So the league is going to allow Cleveland to form their super team, and in return, Minnesota gets a number 1 overall draft pick, which they used to get Karl Anthony Towns. But no, there's no process involved there at all. It's every team to a certain extent has a quote-unquote process. Sam was just real honest about what our process was going to be.
Because he understood coming in that the only way you're going to get better is by being the worst.
No, you're absolutely right.
I know you know that. I know you know that, but I don't think the Hinkie haters understood that because, listen, was the process tough? Yes. Was the process at times where you're like, man, I can't, this guy's got to go. Something's got to change. Yes. Right? Was the process at times where you wanted to throw Hinkie off a bridge? Yes. Was the process at times where you stopped watching the Sixers? Yes. Okay, so the process hit hard, and I'm sure there's 100 million other things we could say about the process on how bad it was for us as a fan. Okay, but if you really just took off the fan hat for a minute, you understood, yeah, it's just what we got to do in this league. The way the NBA is constructed, it's what we got to do. We got to land some number 1s picks and be star number 1 picks. And over the last 2 years, we were lucky enough to get it last year, and this year get in a good position to trade up and get it because of Hinkie. And now you're in a great spot because even JoJo's your meal ticket because he's your superstar, but it doesn't mean Ben and Fultz aren't.
Correct.
Okay? Because people forget that Ben came in touted like the next LeBron, the next KD, a guy 6'8" who can do everything, right? And that's how he came in. That's why he was consensus number 1 as well. Yeah. So I think even without Embiid, it's a good basketball team. But I'm going Fultz as Rookie of the Year if you had the hypothetical gun.
I don't have a problem with the pick at all. I mean, I would love to say if it's not Ben, it's Fultz. If it's not Fultz, it's Ben. But I can't lay money on that because I feel like the league just wants to take it and shove it right up the Sixers, you-know-what, even though their puppets are now in place in the Sixers front office.
Right. And you hit it correctly with Minnesota. Now, although Minnesota only recently looks like they have a plan because in that Ricky Rubio draft, they also drafted Johnny Flynn, 1 pick above Steph Curry. So, they also didn't make the greatest decisions themselves. But you're right. They had the assets to make a Jimmy Butler type of deal. They had the flexibility in order to do it as well. And that's what Hinkie created. When Hinkie took over, we had nothing that nobody wanted. Nobody wanted anything from us because we didn't have any picks, we didn't have any cap space, and we didn't have any players that were desirable. And that's what he did. And that's why you're right, Tom.
Thanks, Will. 6'10". Sorry, I need corrections and stat guys in my goddamn ear when we're trying to do a show. I said 6'8" about Ben Simmons, and God forbid that I say something 2 inches off. 6'10", but
6'10".
he was still touted the next like LeBron, the next KD type. All right, there's no critiquing that, is there? That's facts.
It is facts.
So 6'10",
Cold hard facts.
Yeah.
6'10" facts as well. All right, so I digress on that.
No, what I was saying is Hinkie created that flexibility so we could be the Huckleberries on some of these trades where all we did is accumulate either cap space, JaVale McGee type of stuff, and then built what we have to now that we can replenish and we can now reap the rewards that the NBA so richly gave us.
Okay, but and I'm cool with that. But let's go in the Wayback Machine 4 or 5 years. We'll call it 5 years. Does anyone in their right mind in the NBA offices or around the NBA think that the Sixers are winning an NBA championship with Andre Iguodala as their number one on a max contract? No. I mean, there's no way. And, okay, Michael Carter-Williams, Rookie of the Year, great. In a year when the entire rookie class sucked and he won by default. So for these people that want to point to, oh, you guys had Iguodala, he was an NBA Finals MVP. You guys had Michael Carter-Williams, he was the Rookie of the Year. It's smoke and mirrors because these things didn't mean anything. They meant nothing. And Sam knew that. You know, this is the guy who was, you know, he was the sabermetrician of the NBA before it became popular. He knew this stuff, and he knew the Sixers weren't going anywhere with the roster they had. I mean, they tried to go out and get Andrew Bynum, and that was a bust. So the only way that you could rebuild it is to knock it all down.
Yeah, that was BH too, before Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to go Bible references. BH.
Yeah.
Before the Hank.
Go.
He did die for sins.
He did die for our sins.
Everything's full circle.
Yeah.
So he did. Tons of comments coming in to talking about the tights again. Bob Hartman doesn't expect me to suit and tie it. And I said, never, Bob. I would punch myself in the mouth. Every inch matters, Jarrell. Yes, of course. Of course.
And again, never do this to a guy.
Katie Rivas, who I believe somebody you're friends with.
Yep.
I assume first chance I've had to watch you live. Loving it.
Thank you.
Rob Povey, any thoughts on Phil Jackson and the Clippers to help them rebuild? I think if you talk rebuild and Phil, that's not going to ever happen.
No, and didn't
If
Jerry
you talk
West?
if you talk refill and Phil, talking his bourbon glass, perhaps.
Isn't Jerry West in a capacity out there as a you know, some sort of advisor?
He did. He was with Golden State, and after they won the second title,
Yeah.
he split from Golden State and then went to the Clippers as an advisor.
And then Chris Paul gets traded.
And here's the thing. This whole thing now that's going on with the Clippers, it would not surprise me one bit. I mean, one single bit. If Jerry West went to the Clippers and said, you want to compete with the Lakers and you want to turn yourself into, you know, back into a contender, you got to do what Hinkie did. And there goes Chris Paul, and I'd be willing to bet that Blake Griffin isn't back, and pretty sure that J.J. Redick won't be coming back as a free agent, and you're going to leave Doc Rivers with his kid, and that's about it. So tell me there's not going to be a tank going on there.
Well, I had heard rumors, the whole Chris Paul thing I was hearing today. Part of the backstory to that was Austin, Doc's boy, was the in-house and the only option for J.J. Redick leaving at the two guard.
Oh, that's pure fact.
Yeah, and Chris Paul wasn't happy with it.
Doc went out and acquired his kid and played favorites to his kid for the entire season.
Yeah.
That's documented in multiple places.
Yeah, so that's part of the backstory with Chris Paul, which is very interesting. You know, that it even happens at the highest level. Daddy ball.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, the guy was, you know, a Duke guy. You know, people thought he was good. You know, but you can never at this level play for the team your father coaches.
No.
Unless you're a superstar and a top 10 player in this league, you can't get away with it. Because if you're just average or average at best, just think about that. And you get more minutes than a guy next to you who is average at best as well.
And doesn't have your last name.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough. That's a tough locker room. I wouldn't want to be a part of that.
Comment from Rob, going with Josh Jackson. Love that kid. Will shine in the desert. standing above the rest, especially since the league likes to screw the Sixers and their rookies.
I don't hate it. I'm a Jackson guy. I just don't think there's enough around, especially in the West, for Jackson to shine. But I obviously love it.
Sean Spielman saying the fact that the Sixers are going to peak and Colangelo will be at the head is bullshit. When
Agreed.
the Sixers win a chip, build a statue of Hinkie, question mark. No
You
question.
want the Clydesdales?
Yeah, Clydesdales.
Yeah, sure.
Statues.
We're in.
It's almost like Barrel. Remember Barrel wrote the
Oh, yeah.
Clydesdale?
Let's start a
Phenomenal.
GoFundMe for the Hinkie statue.
We
The
can
Hinkie
take a
statue.
little in for our pockets, but yeah, most of it's going to go to the Hinkie statue. All right.
Go fund us. We're going to build a Hinkie statue. 2 for me, 1 for you.
Wilson, this is what he was asking. Who's most likely to be a Sixer next year out of Redick, Iguodala, and Blake?
Redick for me.
Is he talking like Blake as in Blake Griffin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's Redick.
it's Redick for me.
Although
I actually-
I don't hate any of them. I don't know that you can do Iguodala Part 2 with any degree of success. Blake is kind of intriguing, but I don't know that he's a great fit. I just think Redick fits the best with what they're trying to do.
Agreed.
They're all great names, though.
I actually think Blake does resign, despite I think your theory. I think Blake resigns because you're in LA. You have to sell tickets. You have to sell tickets, despite how bad you are. You have to sell tickets. That's why That's why the Lakers kept Kobe coming back for all those years, and that's why the Lakers have to stay relevant because you need to sell tickets in LA. And the NBA needs LA to be relevant in one way or the other, whether it's the Clippers or the Lakers. Obviously, they prefer the Lakers, but I think Blake resigns, and I don't. There's no part of me that wants Iguodala back.
No.
Staying on that Clippers
I
team.
don't want to go back. I don't want to go back in the future and pull guys out like Luz or Iggy's. We've had it. We've dealt with it. We appreciate it. Go somewhere else.
Jacob Loss. Rumors are CP3 was pissed that Doc wouldn't include his son in the deal to get Carmelo on the Clippers. Interesting.
Yeah, I heard that one as well.
David Rosca, Vince Carter to the Sixers. It's a Band-Aid. We've talked about the Band-Aid situation before. It's a good name, good veteran leader, but it's a Band-Aid. Guy won't get more than 5 minutes a night.
Yeah.
Don't need him.
I mean, again, if you were to bring a guy in a locker room that showed the young pups how to go about the industry, cool, I like it. But
I don't buy into a lot of reports until things like happen. You know what I mean? I don't like to really get deep into it. Like, Hayward and whoever else are going to meet with the Celtics, or so and so is going to meet here. Or I don't get into it until they sign on a dotted line. So my hope still is that they're willing to pay like a Gordon Hayward.
Look,
That's my hope.
Brian Colangelo's got $46 million to work with this year.
That's my hope. My hope is
You
that.
can get whoever you want.
Now, is Redick okay? He's okay to me. J.J. Redick's hot and cold, okay? When he's hot, and that's like any shooter. But, he's not great defensively. He's not going to wow you defensively. So he's almost liability-ish on the defensive end. Right? I mean, come on.
No.
We can't act like J.J. Redick defends all of a sudden.
No, I'm not saying he
well.
does. I'm just saying he has turned himself into a legit NBA player. That he's not a full liability. He is at times, yes, against bigger two guards, quicker two guards. He is a liability at certain times. But he has turned himself from starting out pretty bad in this league, has turned himself into a very decent NBA two guard, despite some limitations athletically that even hampered him at Duke.
You know why I like that? And this kind of goes into the whole how does it fit thing is, number one, he's not going to be logging starters minutes. He's going to stretch the defense because his outside shot is respected. But I think the one thing that Brett became real good at last year, especially down the stretch of games, was subbing offense for defense. And I could very easily see situations late in games where he's got Redick on the floor for the offensive possession, and he goes with TLC when it flips and they're on the defensive end. So for what his role is going to be, I don't disagree that he is a defensive liability, but for what his role is going to be, I don't hate it. Now, ideally, would I love to see Gordon Hayward in that role where he doesn't have to come off the floor? Of course.
Sure.
A guy like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope? Sure, but he doesn't have the outside shot. The name that we tossed around a few weeks ago that would probably be the ideal fit would be Otto Porter, but he's restricted.
Right.
So considering what's going to be available for that role, I do think he's the best fit.
I just worry the money's going to be too high for him.
Jacob Loss again. Robert Covington is basically a cheaper version of Iggy. I think Iggy's probably a little better on the offensive end all around. Covington better outside shot. Covington is turning himself into a hell of a defender, though. Finished 4th in Defensive Player of the Year.
I hate Rocco. Listen, I'm not a Rocco guy.
And then,
we crushed this dude the first 41. He was terrible.
Oh,
he
he
didn't
was
deserve to be on a basketball
It's 'cause he
court.
couldn't shoot.
And now I'm in great Sixers groups. Don't get me wrong. But the guys who were get upset when you say oh, feds are coming. Oh, you guys leave Rocco out of this?
yes. You leave Rocco out of it.
Damn, I don't care if he won defensive player of the year this year. I would still say, do you remember that first 41? It's like one of them crime series. The first 48.
First 48.
You remember the first 41 of Rocco? You don't want to.
Yeah.
It was ugly.
I mean,
I remember Wilson sitting here despising the guy. How's he even playing basketball at one
Yeah.
point, early on in the year? And I was like, yeah, you're right.
Ro-
That guy looks terrible.
Rocco's like a bad novel. It's like a tale of two seasons.
Yeah,
but
it really is.
You know what, though? He's one of those fines that Hinkie got in the second round out of the D-League, right?
I don't hate him.
No.
Yeah.
But, didn't cost anything. It was a second-round pick or even just a free agent signing. But he's one of those cheap guys that you have under control at a cheap price that allows you now to have $46 million.
Right, but here's the problem with him, is when he hits the end of his deal, he's going to be one of these guys, because of the role he plays on the team, is going to be looking for max money because suddenly he thinks he's the bomb.
Yeah, I mean, I hope not, because I think he knows he's not max money. I actually sat 2 seats down from him at PJ's a couple months ago.
Bob Hartman says when it comes.
What do you want, a cookie?
Yeah.
Bob Hartman says when it comes to JJ, the money he doesn't care about. It's the years that makes him hesitant.
Okay.
Me as well.
Yeah,
Me as well.
that was always our at least my concern with Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Is just just didn't thought he fit just because you were going to have to give him a lot of years.
But see, that's just reports, and that's because
Well,
him and Colangelo
right,
are tied
yeah.
in some way. So everybody wants to assume Kyle Lowry's coming to Philly.
Well, let me put the question out there, though. And, to you guys and to the listeners, what are you comfortable with in terms of years for Redick?
3.
Yeah, I'd say 3.
I go 4 and 40.
3 and an option.
I'd even go 4 and 60.
Shit,
If he needs
I'll
to
go
make
3
50
and 40 just to make sure I don't have the other year. Just so he's going when he's going. When he's done.
But he's relatively young, though. I don't have a problem with going 4. I wouldn't go 5.
Yeah. But
I'd go
You're
4.
right. I mean, 4's not terrible.
Yeah.
Austin Cass says Blake and Paul are old when we were talking about Blake Griffin and won't be in the league in probably 40 years.
Well, yeah, because Chris Paul will be 42. He's 37 right now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blake will still be in 4
Blake's only
years.
27.
Yeah, Blake will be in.
I mean, he
but
might be
if
out
he's not-
because he's not very good.
Has Chris Paul really been around that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that was part of the other side was I don't think LA wanted to give him that 5th year because they didn't want another Kobe situation where they're giving a guy $25 million for that 5th year and he's a shell of what he used to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Makes sense.
Bob Harper says
Christ.
he goes 2 years, so that's how he differs from us. So he just says, hey, I'll take him for 2 for 30 or 2 for 25 or whatever the heck it is.
I mean, ideal, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
TTT ball or TTP trust process. I like it.
Yeah.
TTP ball in 3 at the most.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
we're all in the same range.
I mean, you say 4, I said 3, Bob says 2. I think if we all met in the middle, I think we could all agree that 3's okay.
I don't think you
Right?
you get him if you only offer 2 unless you offer him big.
Unless
big
you're 2
money.
for 50, and that's crazy talk.
Yeah, that's crazy talk.
You know what I mean? Give me Hayward, then I'll give him 10 years. But I think that's
years?
Well, I'm joking. Not 10. Gee, everybody takes everything so serious anymore.
6'8".
Who? Hayward?
6'8".
He might be. Let's see. What is Hayward, though? 6'6"? 6'7"? He might be
I think
6'8".
6'7".
BDC.
He might be 6'8". Simmons is 6'10". It's engraved.
It's engraved.
Stamped.
See, I thought you were just talking about LeBron because LeBron's 6'8".
Yeah, well, that's what a 6'8" got in my head. And Durant's what's Durant? 6'9", 6'10", but
he's 6'10",
but
yeah.
a wingspan of 7'8".
Oh, where's Billis at? We got a
Wait,
drink.
you
We got a drink for Billis.
You watched way
What,
too
for,
much of that draft.
Wingspan.
Wingspan. Lane.
Jay Billis.
Jay Billis.
Yeah. Well,
The,
that's all you
the
hear.
wingspan Kool-Aid.
You had a whole night. Oh, hey, wingspan is of 10'2".
I
is that
hate-
even a wingspan?
I hate that we're our leader, but I love Jay Billis. So
That's 10 foot.
Look, man, I'm 5 foot nothing, but I got a 6 foot wingspan. All right.
Yeah.
Does that make me a baller?
That'd probably get you backboard.
Unless I put my Timbs on.
you want to wear the triple Bs?
No.
Gabriel Serrano, Simmons dunking on ball. How likely? Oh, extremely likely.
Yeah.
And Fultz will take him off the dribble.
You know what I like, though?
Done it before. He'll do it again.
Yeah.
I liked how Joel subtly kind of tossed it out there that it was a definite that Ben was going to be running point. Because Joel didn't say, I'm going to dunk on him and make his father come out and get him. He told Ben, please dunk on him and have his daddy come save him. So how great is this going to be? First time down the floor when they play the Lakers, where Ben brings the ball up, sends it off to the wing, and immediately goes and posts Lonzo, catches it, one step, and a two-hand tomahawk on top of his head.
Mama, there goes that man.
Yeah, I see it happen. They all could dunk on him. Could be a dunk party. Could be a circle dunk.
A dunkake.
Speaking of dunks and blocking dunks, little happy belated birthday to the great one, Dikembe Mutombo.
Oh, no.
Best finger wag in the biz. All right, so talking about Brogdon, switching it around a little bit, getting into, the NBA awards now on TNT. It's now an awards show, which is great. It's brought to you by the Soap Stash. The new Soap Standard, find them on the web, soapstash.com, or on Facebook, Soap Stash LLC. Boom.
Robbie, can you take over the YouTube comments for a second? I want to bring something up on the line here with the Rookie of the Year stats, if you will.
And he was, was he rewarded because the Bucks made the playoffs? Was he rewarded because the NBA didn't want a European taking the award? Was it because the NBA didn't want to deal with Joel Embiid taking the award? Was it because the NBA just despised us? Despises us, didn't it? Not past tense.
F all the above.
Yeah. So, there's millions.
I mean, they made the playoffs. They were what, a 500 team? They were 42-40.
I don't put the playoffs in the factor.
Is that really, is that really a factor there?
Well,
Jabril got hurt, and his impact improved over the second half of the year, but
so let me just read something off to you real quick. So this is Malcolm Brogdon, okay? 75 games played, only 28 starts. 27 minutes, okay. 10.2 points, 4.2 assists, 2-point rebounds, and 0.2 blocks. It's a good rookie season. It's not great. It's not Rookie of the Year quality. It's a good rookie season, okay? Dario Saric, 81 games played, did not miss a game. 31 starts, would have been more if they hadn't put him on the bench towards the end of the season when they were restricting his minutes. And even with the minutes restrictions, 26.3 minutes, 13 points a game, 2.2 assists, 6 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Clearly, these numbers far and away.
Wait, 4 blocks a game or 0.4?
0.4.
Okay.
6 rebounds, 0.4 blocks.
Yeah,
okay. These numbers far and away better than Brogdon. And you look at Embiid, it's 31 games played, 31 starts, 25 minutes, it's 25.4. So even with the minutes restriction, he was below his minutes restriction on average. 20.2 points.
In 25 minutes, that's insane.
2.1 assists, 7.8 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks. If you project his numbers out to 36 minutes a game,
It's disgusting.
he's averaging 30 points.
He's the best player in the league.
Yeah, he's averaging 30 points, 6 assists, and 12 rebounds.
It's not even a question in my mind. This guy, when healthy and no minute restrictions, is the best goddamn player in this league. Okay? Because you win inside out. And this is what Hanky was going back to. Percentages. The new school, everyone wants to jack like LaMelo from half court, all right? That's not how the game's won, though. The game's won when you have dominant big men. Dominant. And, yes, the game's different, where your big men need to be stretch guys to be able to go out and hit threes and be able to cover people out there. He can do it all.
JoJo shot 30% from deep.
And I'm going to take a lot of heat for this. From my bronzexuals and the rest of the NBA public out there. But eye test, people. when that guy was on the court for them 25 minutes a game, name a player more dominant in that stretch, name a player that made their team that much better, not a little bit better, a lot better. Okay? You're talking about when he was playing, people actually got crazy talking 8 seed, right?
Yeah.
When
Shit, I lost $50 on that.
Yeah,
That
when he
was-
stopped playing is when
That month of January.
we went tank.
That month of January, they won 10 games in that month.
I mean, this is a guy who, listen, he's changed, a locker room. Okay, he changed a culture here. He bought into the whole trust the process, and started, not only giving his handle that, but just buying into Hinkie, a guy who loved Hinkie when he left. But just the vibe that comes off him, how guys want to be around him. That's just what I love about the kid, and I think that's gonna, this is a kid who wasn't projected anywhere else. This is a kid who didn't play a ton of AAU ball or anything like that. This is a kid.
No, he was a soccer player.
This is a kid who just worked hard to get here, similar to Fultz. But the guy's a game changer.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that guy had no minute restrictions and can play 36 minutes a game, that his numbers aren't the best in basketball, you're crazy, and you should stop watching basketball yesterday.
Well,
Now, am I saying he's going to be healthy? I'm not saying that. If he is, he might win the MVP next year. I know that's crazy talk. If he is, he might win the MVP.
well, no, it's funny because I was just
like
going to
the
say,
offense. I like
if he played 50 to 55 games this year, he's in the MVP discussion.
Sure.
And Greg, to your point, that stretch in January also included 2 games against Milwaukee Bucks. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Malcolm Brogdon, where on the road in Milwaukee, they come from 20 down to win a game where Joel has 32 in 22 minutes. And they come back there 8 days later and beat him again. Milwaukee couldn't beat the Sixers until later in the season when Joel was off the court.
Yeah.
So this bullshit that the Milwaukee Bucks social media account is throwing out there, that the Rookie of the Year runs through Philadelphia, no, your ass hurts. Yeah. The Rookie of the Year didn't run through Philadelphia. The Rookie of the Year got a couple of cheap wins
Pump your brakes.
on the road in Philadelphia late in the season. And if they want to start a Twitter war, you can go ahead and start a Twitter war. We'll send the Philly social media guys across the street to help the Sixers social media guys out, and then we're going to kick your ass on the court. Bottom line, that 6 seed that you guys had this year, bye-bye. Because you're not even making the playoffs next year. You're not even going to sniff it.
No, they're not going to sniff it because we're coming hot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it again to the people maybe just join us. If Joel Embiid plays all 82 and there's no minute restriction.
Good luck with that.
Okay, just to say he plays 78.
70.
I was going to say 70.
Play 70.
70 games.
75.
All right.
All right,
75.
75. Semantics. 70 to 75.
You can get with this, so you can get with that.
Whatever side you want.
Hey, take 72.5 over under.
We're doing this right now. Give me 200 on the over.
Bada bing.
Chris Schaefer, Joel for MVP. We'll read all the comments off in a second. If he plays 70, 75 games and there's no minute restrictions,
Which they've said there will not
It
be.
shouldn't be.
and this team will be a playoff team if that happens.
No doubt.
Okay?
Just him alone.
Yeah, just him alone. He will win the MVP. You think I'm crazy? Big men win championships, 2 guards sign shoe deals, unless you're Mike or Kobe. And even with Kobe, he had the big Aristotle. All right, the Diesel,
Yeah.
the big cactus.
I completely agree. I mean,
the most dominant big man of all time he had in terms of modern era.
Sure.
In terms of, let's say, 70 or up, and people can kind of hit me with Kareem, but Shaq would just back Kareem down and dunk on his face all day. When you're talking about Shaq in his prime, people forgot the things he could do and how dominant he was. But that's Embiid translation, except he can stretch you. You know what I mean? Now he can shoot threes, like Mike said, 30% from 3. He can do them things that equal just wow.
The only one who's got a game to me that's even close.
He's a 7-foot guy.
I think Olajuwon with the dream shake, and Duncan later on when he developed the outside shot. Yeah, let it go. Let it go, Robbie. Send it on through. All good. But no, I mean,
True, he didn't play back-to-backs. Bobson, let's read off these comments real quick before I forget. Chris Heffernan, Embiid should have made the All-Star team. Agreed.
definitely.
Brian Leone, they weren't going Hey, man, they weren't going to give it to a guy who played only 31 games and had minute restrictions during
True
those
story.
games.
I'll give you
just
that.
the way it is. Agreed there. I didn't think he was going to get it anyway. I thought it was Darius to lose. Vinny Massington, totally raw, and a rookie that played, 30 games, and the dude was so dominant in the NBA, he was unreal when he played. Yup, right where we're at. Bob Hartman, I hate analytics and numbers, but I remember the analytics-type numbers they threw around with Embiid offensively and defensively and how compared to the rest of the league. And Embiid was near the top in both sides of that. And he was on minute restrictions and not playing back-to-backs, etc. And Vinny Masson, last one, and that's fun. The unfortunate part is if he's a Hall of Fame talent that won't make it there. Hope I'm wrong, but strictly from health standpoint, I'm saying. So he doesn't think he's going to make it because of health.
Let me hit Vinny's point real quick, and then I got a couple of interesting ones over here. The first point that Vinny made about just the playing 31 games, this is a guy who only played, and it goes back to your earlier point, this is a guy who only played 1 year at Kansas, didn't even play the full year. So he played roughly 75% of his freshman year in college and was a soccer player first and a basketball player second before going to Kansas. So this is a guy that we could say has limited basketball experience who is that dominant on the court. I mean, the league right now needs to be on notice because if he comes back healthy, it's on. I mean, it's on big time. But a couple comments here. Jacob Loss again. Bucks are talking a lot of trash since Malcolm won. Sixers would win a Twitter war with any team. Justin Henschel. I kind of agree with Durant saying the Fed's nickname is stupid, but the players are nice. Phil Evans. I was arguing with Bucks fans yesterday. Their big four is so sad and mediocre. Giannis, Parker, Brogdon, and Middleton. Listen, I got no issue with Giannis or Middleton. No. If Parker could stay healthy,
Duke guy.
Duke guy.
Like
Brogdon's the one that I have the issue with. I think he's overrated.
Oh, he is. He's a Virginia guy. All he did was play defense at Virginia. He didn't do anything at Virginia. He was the defensive star.
And Justin Anderson, you crumb. I don't even care that you played college ball at Virginia with Brogdon. He wins an award over two of your current teammates. You sit there and you shut up. Come put my foot up his ass.
Where did he tweet out?
Yeah. He's tweeting the love to Malcolm Brogdon because that's his boy. It's his roommate from Virginia.
Yeah. Well, them days are over.
What kind of roommate was it?
Cellmate? Over, Daddy. Go to bed. I don't like Justin Anderson. People like Justin Anderson too. I'm not like, why do you like him? Again, I had to see that in groups. Like, Justin Anderson, where's he fit?
Brian Colangelo.
You know where he fits?
Jacob
Loss.
In
the back of a trunk.
On another team.
The back of a trunk driving into a lake. That's where he fits.
Jacob Loss. Parker just tore his ACL again. Middleton has
hold on.
Middleton has fallen off since his injury.
Hold on. Did a minute go by?
Another tear.
Yeah, no,
Let's back up a minute here.
Do what you got to do.
Durant came out and said the Fed's nickname is stupid. He
Yeah.
said that?
Yeah.
He goes, the nickname is stupid, but the players are sweet.
This is a guy that couldn't beat the competition, so he left to join the competition to win a trophy, and he's calling something stupid. All right.
And
Pot,
then
kettle.
And then he takes a shot at his boy, his supposed boy, and puts the ring on top of the cupcake. And that's just more. So now, like you did your MVP speech when you won your MVP and you cried and you said how, that's my brother over there talking about Westbrook, how you loved him so much. And then what do you do then after? How do you take a shot back at him? You say, we didn't get a chance to talk. You run out on your boy. They would go somewhere else. Okay, we can all get over that. But then when you're at the highest, now you're going to take a shot and a jab by the hat. That just shows you Durant. And whatever. I mean, dude, is the dude a great basketball player? No question. But I don't like his personality. I'll take Russ every day and twice on Sunday over him. Every day and twice on Sunday. Because I'm a Russ guy. He's the best player in the league last year.
He was.
He's the MVP.
He was.
And anybody who thinks otherwise, like the Bronsexuals, are crazy. And again, I'll say it again. If you misheard me yesterday, should have stopped watching basketball a week ago.
I'm just
Whenever
going to play devil's advocate here for a second.
I was waiting.
Just going to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Here we go.
Love to have you.
I'm not – obviously don't like LeBron. But if you reward
– rephrase.
What?
You said, I said don't like LeBron?
I don't like LeBron. But if you
we know you're a bronzexual, Tom.
if you
Nah,
reward
I'm
Russ
like just
for
LeBron
the triple
without
double,
sexual.
rightfully so,
All right.
how do you not reward LeBron for the triple double in the playoffs, in the finals?
Well, why does to me you cut that? It's a regular season MVP.
No. I get that. I get that. So we rewarded Russ, right? Russ got the MVP. Why? I'm playing devil's advocate saying LeBron should have been the MVP of the finals.
No.
Because the triple-double. So if you reward
Then
one,
we're
why don't you reward the
participation
other?
trophies? Then it's participation trophies. Well, you played great and lost, but here's your trophy.
All right,
That's not how it should work, ever.
Two
right?
things on
I
that.
agree. I think
Yeah.
Durant was the X factor.
Well, it's
so I'm cool. But
two things on that. His body of work. I mean, he set a record for most triple-doubles in a season, and it was – I mean, he didn't just set a record. He shattered it. And in terms of most valuable player, Oklahoma City doesn't get anywhere close to the number of wins they had if he's not on the team or he's injured or whatever. Was KD the absolute star of that final series? Yeah, he was. And they're going to give it to the best player on the winning team. But bottom line, and let's not fool anybody, KD wasn't there 2 years ago and they won. He wasn't there last year and they were back there. So, all well and good. Sometimes you just gotta look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie.
like I said, I was just playing devil's advocate.
No, it's a good question.
I was just throwing it out there, get Tommy all fired up.
No,
but it's funny because I was down a rabbit hole watching Facebook or YouTube videos, or whatever, and I saw a Russ mixtape and how everybody back in history, Magic, everybody was talking about the triple-double record would never be broken ever in history. Gary Payton, go back, some of the greats are saying this record would never be broken. And to Mike, to your point, he shattered it. He shattered it. It wasn't even close. And I like Russ. I just think his year was elevated just because the type of basketball that's being played in the regular season isn't really basketball. But you can't take away what he did and what his impact on his team this year was. Yeah, they're worse than the Sixers.
That's lucky if they win 20 without him. Really?
Yeah.
They're lucky if they win 20. If they win 25 without him, that's a good year. Really. And he makes them a playoff team in the West.
Yeah.
That means something. And then the triple-double, that matters.
Oh, yeah.
That matters. And if his team won 20 games, the average triple-double, and, then I give it to Harden or I give it to LeBron, okay? But you average triple-double, the star of your team left you out to dry, and you still took your team back to the playoffs. And you got better. I look at a guy who had a chip on his shoulder this year and used it to his advantage.
Yeah.
And I think Russ is better. Listen, he's 100 times better defensively than Harden will ever be. It gives you effort at least.
Well, but put yourself in his position too. He's basically the last man standing in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Durant gone. Rewind it further than that. Harden gone. Durant gone. Ibaka got shipped out. They brought Oladipo in. Oladipo's still young. He's still finding his game. They're big men. They could develop, but I'm not impressed. There's a little bit of talent there, but that little bit of talent doesn't do anything without him being the gas that makes the car go.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, true. I think you put him on any bad team, and he takes them to the playoffs.
In any conference, in any side.
Yep. I think it's that simple. So, and that matters, man. Triple-double matters. People, it's LeBron. LeBron should get it every year. Why? We just give it to him because his name's LeBron? No. Michael won it the years he won it because he's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
And it was clear. Just like it was clear this year. Guess who the best player was? Russ. Guess who congratulated the best player? Mike.
Yeah.
Make sense?
All right, boys.
Russ is a winner to me.
While we're on that piece, excuse me.
He's going to win one before it's all said and done. Sorry.
Most valuable player
Philly.
awards. Winner Russell Westbrook. I don't think any of us have an issue with that.
Nope.
Second, James Harden. I think Harden's a little soft.
I don't like James Harden.
I'm not a
I'm
Harden
not a
fan.
Third, Kawhi Leonard. I think he should have been second. Guy's unbelievable on both ends of the floor. Fourth, LeBron James. Fifth, Isaiah Thomas. Any issues with that? All right.
No, because you got the top one right, so anything below that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just them sprinkling it in.
Rookie of the year voting, I think we've already beat the shit out of. But for those that are interested, it was Brogdon 1, Dario 2, and Embiid 3.
Flat out check.
if anything, it should have been Dario 1, Brogdon 2, Embiid 3, and Embiid is only 3 based on the games played.
Yeah.
Most improved. This is the thing that pisses me off. Because Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to win most improved player. The guy was already nicknamed the Greek Freak, and he's a damn good player. So if you're going to name him most improved, how do you then give Rookie of the Year to Malcolm Brogdon? Like, how are you going to have two guys on the same team pulling awards? And doesn't it then become that obvious that the only reason Brogdon is getting stats is because the Freak is the most improved player? I mean, it's such bullshit.
It makes you wonder what Milwaukee's ownership, what videos and pictures they have of Adam Silver.
Well, Eden's
and writers.
The owner.
You know what I mean? Writers come to town. They probably do creepy things. I wonder how many pictures they have.
Silsky pointed this out in that post that that piece that you shared.
Right. A great article, by the way. Mike
Yeah.
Silsky's article
Real
or
good
column
article.
today, yeah.
And the Eden's, the majority owner, the Bucks threatened to move the Bucks if Milwaukee didn't pay for it. The taxpayers didn't pay for it. And now everyone's touting the Bucks as like this next big and up and coming team. How are you as a league going to award some guy for getting taxpayers to pay for an arena to stay home when he's getting ready to exploit exactly the opposite scenario of what the Sixers did? Sixers exploited the workings of the league. Edens, who is a billionaire, by the way, exploited the movability of the Bucks and getting in themselves a new.
Was it a situation with the Bradley Center? I mean, the Bradley Center was less than 15 years old, right? And he made the taxpayers basically pay for an entire new arena there.
Yeah. Or he was going to move. Or they was going to move the team.
Good luck with that.
And now the NBA rewards them. Now, with the most improved, you're right. I mean, Giannis already was what he was. But it was one of those things, I think, like, obviously he didn't win, Defensive Player of the Year. He's not in the MVP voting. So he's one of those guys that where the NBA's probably like,
what can we give him?
Let's give you something to keep the carrot, to keep you in the limelight because you are what you are despite playing in Milwaukee.
You know what that is, though? That's like taking a kid in school who's averaging like a 92, and he bumps his average from 92 up to 95, and you want to pat him on the ass, so you give him the most improved student.
Well, that's
it's like, come on.
That's what you do in high school when you have two kids that are, that are battling for most improved dedication award. You give one to one the other. It's the same thing.
I don't like it.
I mean,
I'm not saying it's right.
He got better than what he was. You know what I mean? Like his numbers went up. He got better, but I think it's the league just looking like, who the hell do we give it to?
Right, but now here's the thing. If you look
one
at
of them deals, right?
look at the second and third place finishers for most improved, Nikola Jokic and Rudy Gobert, I would have taken either of them as most improved over Giannis because those two, and Rob would even chime in on this too, like when you look at their overall numbers, and we'll go degenerate style here, they're both FanDuel and DraftKings studs night in and night out. I mean, Jokic and Gobert, ridiculous numbers.
40 burgers all day.
Yeah, easily. And
I got to commend your pronunciation, too, of the Greek Freak, by the way. That's quite impressive.
I practiced.
Yeah.
Antetokounmpo.
Yeah. I had an argument with Pitchford, but what else is new?
Can't win them all.
Yeah.
You tell that guy he can just,
No, but solid contributors, too. Whenever you can score points and get rebounds, that's definitely great for DFS.
Yeah. And then,
real quick,
Go
though.
ahead.
Get real quick, just back to the Rookie of the Year. How does the NBA have a Rookie of the Year that doesn't win Rookie of the Month once?
their excuse was that Rookie of the Month is a fan vote, and Rookie of the Year is the media.
Okay. But, yeah.
Because I said the same thing. I said, you look at the numbers, and Embiid won it 3 times, Dario won it twice, and Brogdon won
0. Yeah.
I mean, hell, even Buddy Hield won one.
Anyway, back.
And he straight out sucked.
Back to you.
Real quick. Go
ahead.
Best beats. It's a fabulous quote. He goes, I can see it now. Simmons and Fultz sweep the Rookie of the Month awards, only to be snubbed by a random second rounder.
Who was that?
Best fit Frank.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Classic.
Nice. Sixth man of the year, Eric Gordon of the Houston Rockets, who I happen to love his game.
I always have.
I would take him on the Sixers in half a heartbeat.
Yeah, just his health.
Yeah.
That's always
Yeah.
been his issue. Can he stay on the court?
but it's Eric Gordon, Iggy, and Lou Williams.
I'm good with that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I saw Lou getting a quick spat on Twitter, and he's like, someone asked Lou, "You're the luckiest journeyman in the NBA." He's like, "Bro, journeymen don't average 18 a game."
Well, riddle me this though. So you've got the winner, Eric Gordon from the Houston Rockets, and the third place winner, Lou Williams from the Houston Rockets. How can you have 2 sixth men on the same team?
Is Patrick Beverly on that list as well?
Shouldn't one of them be a seventh man? I mean, do they just alternate games where one comes in before the other? And I mean, I understand the six-man term is relative. I mean, they're talking best bench player. But I don't understand how you could have 2 guys on the same team in the top 3 of that. It just doesn't seem logical.
It's the NBA.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Nothing's been logical.
Nothing, yeah.
Real quick, Brian Leone, you're missing the big news of the day. Sixers traded Sean Long to the Rockets.
Hey, we got a second-round pick out of it.
There we did.
Here we go, assets.
And actually, in all seriousness, the post that I had put up last week that we talked about a little bit on the air was Sean Long was one of those guys that we could see them actually taking him off of the roster to clear that spot and dump that salary so that they would have room, because once they sign Markelle, they're at 14. Mm-hmm. Now with Long being gone, they're down to 13. So they now have 2 slots left on the roster where they could sign free agents
Without doing anything else.
You got to figure Gerald Henderson in that $9 million is going to go as well. So now you're down, you're up to 3 slots, but that also then takes your cap up close to $55 million. I mean, for that kind of money, they got to make a splash.
I just don't think Henderson goes right away just for the veteran. But, I mean, that type of player, whether it's him or Bayless, that type of – you're right, that type of guy is definitely next.
And for everyone that says you can't get rid of Henderson because he's a veteran presence or you need to sign another veteran leader, Gerald Bayless is going into his 10th year. He's got plenty of experience and plenty of veteran leadership.
Yes, well, so does the guys who played their first year last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that matters too. Like that's such a listen. It's a lame argument to me. It always has been. Like, what do you measure as a vet? Just a guy who's been in the league X amount of years. He could be a terrible vet just because he's a vet. People automatically out there assume that that's a good vet. Well, what about the guys on your team that are growing a good culture together? Okay, and are vets. Okay, say what you want. Embiid's been around this team for 3 years now.
Yeah.
It's vet. That's a vet now.
Well, and then
forget what he played. That's a vet.
No, the thing that cracks me up too is you get these guys in social
Dario, been a year. Now he's a vet.
It's social media groups and stuff like that want to say you either need to be a veteran or a superstar to provide leadership. You know what? I don't care if he's the 15th man on the roster. I'll take T.J. McConnell's leadership over half the guys that they want to talk about in these groups any day. Any day. Because he's got to work his ass off every day just to stay in the league.
Hey, what does that sound like, though? Even though he doesn't have to work his ass off. Everybody has to work their ass off to stay in the league. Was it the same thing about Fultz?
Yeah.
He's a guy who, had to work from junior year up, was a nobody, which is a guy, worked on his craft, got better, kept getting better, where now he's one of the top prospects coming out of high school, goes to Washington, next thing you know, he's number 1 pick, and 3 years ago, he was on nobody's radar. Late bloomer. So, and then had to keep working. Guy who got cut. They're guys who win, man. And I'm not comparing him to Jordan, but the similarities of a guy who not everything was handed to him. You look at Ben Simmons, right? Who do you think work ethic is going to be better, Fultz or Simmons? I'll tell you right now. I think it's going to be Fultz.
I don't even think that's a question.
Okay, now Ben's a guy who's been touted, like we talked about early on in the show, as that guy forever, for as long as he probably can remember. Guy played a ton of AAU ball where you lose a game, it doesn't matter because you get 10 more that day.
7 more, yeah.
Okay, so the AAU ball, where one thing I agree with Doug Collins about, he said earlier on in the season how he thought AAU ball was ruining the league to a point.
Completely agree.
And I agree with it completely because it teaches, like, my skills, what I'm good at.
Right.
Instead of, hey, did you win today? So that's why I like Joel a lot and Fultz a lot, because I think their work ethic is always going to be there. Dario as well. Now, Ben, we'll wait and see. But there is, like, rumblings where he's been, like, a little rude to people here and there, and he's been a little snarky.
We talking about Ben?
Yeah, and just like, but he's a kid, man. And we got to keep this in mind. This is a baby still. So I'm not getting all into all that because there's enough talent around here that one single guy isn't going to make or break what's going down here.
Oh,
I'm not calling Ben out for anything. I'm just saying the differences of how guys have to work and guys are handed things.
You have a bunch of team-oriented guys, and then you got to have the one cocky guy. That's a good dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's cocky. I don't know for sure. It's just some things you hear, some interviews that he has, and you're like, well, that seems a little short. But again, it's a kid, getting surrounded like the one he said, oh, I feel like LeBron now. Because, like, everybody was in, everybody was around him. And just the way he said it.
Well, let's also not forget.
Easy, Daddy. Get on the court.
He's not from here either. I mean, he's Australian.
If that's what you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Semi-Australian.
Listen,
Crikey.
if the
He's
kid
not putting anything. He's not putting any shrimp on
if
the
the
bar.
kid is going to be in the gym at midnight on a Saturday night,
So he's D'Angelo Russell. What does that mean?
you know what? D'Angelo's in there filming videos of
Oh,
stuff.
we know what he's in there doing. Oh, he dribbled well up the court and made a layup, and like Nets fans were like freaking out. Sorry.
They're Nets fans.
Listen, we've seen what happens with rookies at midnight on a Saturday night in this town. Ja. So if Ben's going to be in the gym at midnight on a Saturday night, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt until he proves us wrong.
Listen, make no mistake about it. I'm not calling him out for anything or saying he doesn't work hard with any of this. I'm just saying I would take the guy who had to work hard to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not that Ben hasn't, because obviously to be number one overall pick, to be the top player coming out of high school, you work to get there in some fashion. But I'm just saying these guys didn't play any AAU ball. But I think that no matter what, if there is like ever a bad seed in this locker room, Joel will handle that.
Yeah.
And I think these guys genuinely care about each other and like being around each other, and their smiles are genuine. And I think when you talk about Simmons and Embiid, now Fultz coming in and Dario, they love each other.
Yeah.
And I think that matters.
Well, it's like Dario last year when he was saying, forget trust the process, it's trust the friendship.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all boys.
They're boys, and I think it's a real friendship.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, well, we have to smile because the camera's around. We have to do this because of A, B, C, and D. And so, again, I'm not saying Ben's a bad seed at all. I'm just talking about who do I think, like we talk about Rookie of the Year when it spins all back to our poll, I think Fultz gets it because he just had to put a lot more work in to get to this point.
And it shows.
And I think when you got a guy who can drop 20 like I think he'll be able to. But then I also hear where you guys will say Ben, because the little bit taste I saw in the summer, little something that wet my beak.
That 2 games in the summer league?
2 games where, he could just dish it. And he dished it well. So I don't know.
He could average a triple-double. It could
In
happen.
2 games.
He could.
I do buy into.
Adrian Morris is going to be doing a show here shortly. Great show, chiming in.
Real quick, I do buy into the veteran presence. I mean, we brought up the Vince Carter theory out there, right? I mean, think about when you guys were back in high school. Your teams were better when you had good senior leadership.
Oh, no question.
You know what I mean? So, and especially with this team, they've for the most part been conditioned to lose. So, to your point, it can't just be any run-of-the-mill veteran just because you've been in the league 10 years. It's got to be the right guy that has been around a winning program that can show these guys, hey, you got to take a nap at this time of the day on a game day. You know what I mean? You got to do this because the season is such a grind. It's such a grind. I mean, they go from November to June.
That's why I don't think Reddick's the guy.
And I'm not saying he is.
No, look, to me, if that's what you're getting him
but
for,
he has won.
No, I don't think you're getting Reddick for the veteran
But he
leadership.
has won, though.
I just think you're getting him to stretch the floor.
I think he's exactly. He is
you're
a
looking for
X's
a
and O piece. He's an X and O piece. He's not your guy.
This is why you just got to throw the bat signal up there. It's Gordon Hayward because he fills both needs.
Yeah.
fills a lot of them.
Give me the bat signal.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Shine it up there, Brian. Shine it, Brian.
I buy in a little bit more than you guys, but
the Reddick? I don't hate him.
I'm not saying Reddick's that guy.
I just don't think
But Reddick has won though, so he could be part of being that guy.
But he was also on a team that underachieved essentially.
I'm going back his whole career, so like at Duke and stuff like that. He's been around a winning program.
I know, I get all that, but all the programs he's been around have come up what?
Well, for the most part, short.
Well, what's not the most part? Did he win at Duke?
I thought he did win.
Did he win one at Duke? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Did he win one? Okay, I hate Duke, so I try to take that out of my brain. Okay, so he won one at Duke. Okay, we'll give him that. But I think he's a hard worker because he's gotten better and better and better. I'm just saying with the Clippers, he's been around a team that's been the biggest underachiever in all of the NBA. Does some of that rub off?
I think it has to.
If he became such a to me, like, if people will say this out there, if he became a leader of any sort, why would I want that leader?
Yeah.
So the leader stuff, I don't buy in. We have a leader here. We just need good. If you look, we can fill 2 vet needs, right, Mike?
Right.
There's 2 roster spots open, so we can fill 2 vet needs. So that's where I'll buy in. If you want to give me JJ and even Iggy, I would buy into them too, because then you're bringing in. If you're doing it for veteran leadership, I don't really care for either. I'm a Hayward bat sign.
Take the veteran leadership out of it for a second. If let's just look at Reddick though for surface value, okay? And we want to talk about if you want to talk about the underachieving aspect of it, I'll look at his team and I'll say Blake Griffin, injured. Chris Paul, aging, inconsistent, injured. Doc Rivers can't decide whether he wants to play Reddick or Jamal Crawford. Then Austin Rivers comes in. And to me, like we talk about all the time, the best availability that you can have, or the best ability you can have, is availability. Mm-hmm. And the one constant on that squad was always J.J. Reddick. And night in, night out, he's there and he's ready to go. Do I buy into what you're saying about the leadership and he needs to make his situation better? Yes, absolutely. But I do think there's a certain part of that that's out of his control, and he can only do what he can do. Now, you put him in a better situation with a better coach, and I do think Brett Brown is a better coach than Doc Rivers at this point in time. I'm willing to take that shot as the X's and O's guys. Not as the veteran leader, but as the X's and O's guys, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, but guess what? You can give me any 2 at this point, and I'm fine going into this year. For this year, it doesn't have to be even a vet. I mean, or like a big-time vet. I mean, you can just bring in 2 guys just to fill your roster out. I'm okay. Really, I am. I don't. If I'm going to sign somebody and give the money out, there's one guy I'm signing. And I think I made this clear all day, every day. I'm not going to just give money to JJ because to give money. You ain't winning NBA Finals this year. So I don't need to just throw it away. If I'm going to spend it, it's Gordon. And it's Gordon all day, and then you go to bed and you worry about it tomorrow. But that's the only thing that I would really spend the money on. I just don't need to bring in and spend, upwards of $20 million a year just for a vet.
Just to spend
just because I'd rather just carry it over. Yeah. Or go sign a big piece.
All right, let's get back to the list real quick. Blow through these. Defensive Player of the Year, winner Draymond Green. Nope, bullshit. That's Warriors bias.
Yeah, it should have been Kawhi.
Second, Rudy Gobert. Third, Kawhi Leonard. I agree. Should have been Kawhi. It's not even a question. NBA Coach of the Year, Mike D'Antoni. Houston, it's a good coach. I don't know if he's Coach of the Year.
He's not a good coach.
No, we've been down this road.
Eric Spoelstra, Miami Heat. You know what?
No, they're not a good coach.
I'll tell you what, though. He did a hell of a lot more with that squad than he had any right to do, given the lack of talent down there.
I'll give you that.
Hassan Whiteside came into his own. Goran Dragic stepped up his game a lot. They got a lot of contributions from guys that you never even heard of before. Did he deserve to win? No, but I don't have a problem with him being second. Third, Greg Popovich. That's your guy. It's Pop.
Yeah,
I think he's got to win it.
The only other guy I would throw out there is Mike Brown.
Who's the best coach in the league?
For what he did this year when Steve Kerr was out.
Stop, I can do it.
Keeping that thing afloat.
I can do it. Keeping that afloat. That's hard to keep afloat.
The best coach is
Greg Popovich. The Titanic, Daddy. I mean, that ain't hard to keep afloat. That thing's good. That thing's floating. That thing's the biggest ship ever built.
But with all
nothing's taking it down. Icebergs. No, there's no ego. So that's the thing. Who's an ego? Stat. That ain't an ego. Yeah. He said that. Hey, this can be your team. So all that was there. Listen, the coach of the year is Pop.
Pop. It's always Pop.
Listen, gun to your, not even gun to your head. Who's the best coach in the league?
Pop.
Everybody pop. So it's the NBA being the NBA.
I will give Mike Brown credit. Sometimes he's not even allowed in the building by security. His own security.
So
that makes it hard to keep it afloat.
So NBA all first team. We'll do first team, second team, third team real quick because I actually think this is kind of interesting. The only unanimous vote in the entire league was James Harden. Even even LeBron and Russ both pulled a second place vote, if you can believe that.
I do, because the writers they're trash.
Jabronis?
Yeah.
Yeah, just because a guy can write on a piece of paper, that doesn't mean his eyes can tell him shit.
I mean, Bob Brookover wrote a whole piece and never saw a freaking game.
Yeah, he's a jabroni too.
So, I mean, that's the guys that are voting on this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. was not a unanimous decision.
That's horrible. So, going back to this, you got Harden, LeBron, Russ, Kawhi, deservedly so. And then you have Anthony Davis. And I find it very curious that this is the first time we're hearing his name out of all these lists. And I think he may have been deserving in that most improved category. And again, it may be another guy who's going from an 89 to a 94. So how much could he improve? But second team, I think the only shocker here is Rudy Gobert. Then you got Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Durant, and Isaiah. Gobert, we talked about him already. He's just he's a stat sheet guy. He just keeps filling it up: points, rebounds, blocks.
He got a lot
he's
better.
He's a good ball player.
It hurt them in the playoffs when he went down too.
It did.
Definitely.
Third team, Draymond again. Golden State bias. Come on, John Wall, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I don't think he's third team.
No,
best in the league,
no.
right?
He's not one of the top 15 players in the league. Come on.
I think he is.
He's top 20, top 25.
I would take him over Jimmy Butler.
No question there, yeah.
Well, here you go. Draymond, John Wall, Jimmy Butler, DeMar DeRozan, and DeAndre Jordan.
See, DeAndre Jordan to me is a crock, and so is DeMar DeRozan.
Well, and there's no way that DeMar DeRozan should have made that third team over Damian Lillard or C.J. McCollum.
Okay, well, I'll tell you one guy who should have taken Draymond's spot, or Butler.
Karl Anthony Towns.
Anthony Towns, Hayward.
I was waiting for Tommy to
Where's
throw
he at on
the
this
bat
goddamn
signal
list?
They're down here in others receiving votes.
And where's he at in other receiving votes?
Right there. About halfway through.
That's a crock of shit. That's a joke, dude. Gordon Hayward's a better basketball player than Jimmy Butler.
Absolutely.
And people get upset with me all they want. He's a better basketball player than Jimmy Butler. He does more for his team than Jimmy Butler does.
Right, but you got to understand the thing with Gordon Hayward is overshadowed by the big jump made this year by Gobert. I mean, it's without Gordon Hayward, Gobert doesn't make that jump.
No, that's where I agree with you.
Bottom line.
That's where I think these writers who don't watch enough basketball to see that. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he deserves second team, but he's a third team guy. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Did you watch any basketball this year? I mean, this bias, to your point about where it all circles back to the rookie of the year and most improved, this little bias that these writers that they play is ridiculous. It's who gave me a good interview? What city did I like the best? Right? What GMs do I like? Who gives me a good snack when I come in? Who pats me on the back and burps me when I'm done? Right? I mean, it's a crock of shit. It's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, we did it for the people, and the TNT did it for the people, but it's a joke. And that's why I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it.
I ain't watching that. Because it's who's voting? If it's a fan vote, I'll watch.
To Mike's point, I was watching Carmelo win the second Money in the Bank last night.
Because don't you think the fans will get it a little more right?
Yeah.
Well, the fans give their bias because they're their home team. So,
or should GMs do it?
I don't know if there is.
Coaches?
I don't know if there is a good way.
Coaches?
Maybe
I think
coaches.
I think it's got to be a combination vote.
Yeah.
I think you have to have.
It's like maybe weight it.
I think you have to have like team personnel, fans, players, and the media, and you have to then have each category sort of weighted. I mean, there is a way to do it. They just need to actually invest the money. Because Lord knows they invest the money in everything else. Yeah. You know what? I'm not even doing this all defensive team and all rookie team. I'm pissed off. Let's move on.
All right. I think we're going to jump off of the Facebook Live, send people over to our YouTube channel, and have people jump on there for us so we can take a quick 2 minutes here.
Yeah, we got a couple more quick segments left.
And regroup. But we're going to come back, still talk Sixers, Flyers, which one's closer to that Broad and Pat. We'll talk about that when we come back, and the MLB All Star Game less than 2 weeks away. What Philly represents it. All that will continue. Sixers talk, whatever you got to say. Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Bob Hartman chimes in right at the end. That's why the years for JJ worries me. Can't go more than 2, so he's back to that.
Okay.
He's back to his 2. So that's another reason. It's Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the PM.
A2DRadio.com. This segment was brought to you by our certified public accountant. Make them yours. Gibson Mayer LLC. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com, as well as the new soap standard, Soap Stash LLC. On the web, soapstash.com. Facebook, Soap Stash LLC. You got something?
Yeah, don't kill us yet. Eric R., we're going to come back and hit your comments. Good stuff here.
All right, everybody, jump over to our YouTube. I'm going to drop the link in here now in our comments. Come on over. Join us over there. Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the PM.
we'll be right back.
You're listening to the worldwide leader of real talk, A2DRadio.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, is brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, certified public accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Mike from Tom and Mike AM in the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer, LLC, Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's www.gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, on a2dradio.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2dradio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2dradio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer, LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer, LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300. or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Tom Arnone, Big Mikey Smalls, Tom, Mike, AM, in the PM, only on A2dradio.com. For the love of God, we got to get Matt off of putting in bets. You know what I mean? That's a metal Matty written all over that one. He's rubbing off on you, Robbie.
People falling
He's
asleep.
rubbing off on all of them.
People falling asleep in their beds listening to us are now wide awake for the next 3 hours.
Don't worry, Daddy will
That's
put you
why
to
I
bed.
played it. You picked it up. I went for the heavy metal bed.
Daddy likes to put you to bed. Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the late PM.
AGDRadio.com.
Almost the AM again.
Yes, go buy a car, BMW Atlantic City. All jokes aside at the beginning, it's up to you what you want to do. Nobody's here to force your hand. BMW Atlantic City, if we are here to force your hand, off exit 37 on the Parkway. Find them online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. Explain to you later why I just don't give a rat's ass. All right? I've been plugging you for 6 months after you pay because I'm a class goddamn act. Okay?
Ladies and gentlemen,
All
Tom
right.
Arnaud.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, we don't return messages. Nah, they're great, though. X37 Park with BMWAtlanticCity.com. Guess who is great, though? Gibson Mayer LLC. Listen, my certified public accountant. Make him yours. GibsonMayer.com. There you can find him on the web.
Much love to Jim Gibson.
Oh, no question about it. Our poll question brought to you by Scanzano Sports. Find him on the web. Scanzanosports.com.
Bat.
We rate.
.combat.
I got an MD in hitting. I figured that out tonight.
You got an MD in hit?
Yeah, like I told a kid just to call me MD.
Most
Don't call me
dysfunctional.
coach.
Most dysfunctional coach.
I said it to Luke, like a kid who could would laugh about it.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say it to my 8-year-old.
Right.
You know, that's not gonna fly. They're not
Say
gonna
it to
catch
your
on.
12-year-old that
But guess what?
understands it. Yeah.
My 15s, I want them to have a good time. I don't want baseball to be somewhere where you feel like it's a job, right? And I told them tonight, what's the issue tonight? You're all from school. School's out for summer, okay? No homework, no tests. All you got is baseball. Why are you guys not having a blast when you come here?
Yeah.
Did you pull a Laviolette on him? What's the problem now? I think you pulled a Lavi on
I think
him.
I might have. But I just want them to have a good, not like mess around, but just have a good time.
Enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah, like you're here practicing. Summer's out. There's no pressure on you.
Yeah.
Now it's fun. Enjoy this time.
Now it's your time to go.
Enjoy it. I said, listen, soak in the experience of playing baseball because this is going to happen quick and you're going to be 34 like me. And listen, I still play. But I did take a swing in the cages to prove a point tonight, because everybody wants a pool.
Cage bomb.
The cage middle on a front toss is to say, hey, this is where – no, I made a point that I'm old.
Video where it didn't happen.
This is what I said. I'm old, and I'm going to prove to you that anybody can pull a baseball. I don't need you to pull a baseball in the cage. And I fight out, and I ripped the pull baseball, and I flipped it, and I said, you guys get it? And, they got it.
Yeah.
So I want to have be loose. Yeah. Be loose when you practice. Take it serious, but you can still smile and have a good time.
No
but
doubt.
whatever. Let's move on.
All right, so I got to get this.
Soap Stash LLC. This is what this is brought to you by. Find them on the web, soapstash.com, the new soap standard.
Yeah, I got to go back to Eric R on the YouTube chat, and I'm going to skip over a couple of guys' comments here because Eric seemed to have this flow of consciousness that's freaking genius. So he goes, I give Hinkie 100%. If he was still here, owners would be selling teams left and right. Hinkie was a maverick at the trade table. Sam would have moved Okafor and had 2 top 10 picks in this draft. Brett Brown is the best motivator in the NBA and is probably a top 10 coach in play calling. I'll take that. I'll take BB or Tibbs. Not or over Tibbs, just Tibbs. No coach in the NBA can get more out of his team nightly than Brett. I don't know.
His mentor probably could.
And then he goes... And then he kind of took a backpedal there, and he said, Rocco is younger and shoots better, plays great D. What do we need a 4th or 5th small forward for? And I think that somebody was looking for Iggy re-signing. And then we actually had a nice little debate on the YouTube chat. So, guys, keep it going. Talk amongst yourselves, and we'll get to you when we can.
You had a comment you had to read, too, is right?
Yeah, I did. But in terms of Brett Brown's taking a lot of heat for his play calling this year, but a lot of that comes down to talent and execution. And talent executes and makes you look better. So listen, I have no problem with Brett Brown as a coach. I think he definitely motivated guys to come out and play with heart every night. But, there's guys that, Pop's a better motivator than him right now. But, again, with talent usually prevails. So
he deserves to still be here.
No
he
question.
deserves to still lead this ship.
Yeah, and he doesn't deserve.
You know, and he doesn't deserve a short leash. Now, after this year, is he reevaluated? He has to be, because you hope your talent level has reevaluated, and you have to see if, because you're right, he was criticized for late game execution, out of bounds execution, you know, all his X's and O's, which, yes, come down to talent. But as your talent raises, your coach has to raise as well. And he deserves the whole year, but we also have to make sure he is the guy.
See, now, to me, when you're a branch on the pop tree, I think you need to get pop talent, and then you can be fairly evaluated.
But if
2 years?
If we're talking
reevaluated.
I'm good with that. 2 years.
I love Brett Brown.
No, I'm just saying.
I love Brett Brown.
The
but
fair way about it is 2 years from right now. We're going to – so you get this year, right? If you fail this year or things don't go well, okay.
You get one more.
We'll give you that one more. If things don't go well that next, well, then you're not the guy. We still have the young talent, and there'll be a different coaching.
Yeah.
But I think he is the guy, and I think once the talent gets better, I don't think we'll be talking about Brett Brown in any bad light. So
I love the man.
because I'm in group messages with buddies, and every time there's like, you know, they don't get a good shot off at the end, or something goes wrong at the end. You hear, my boys come flying. Oh, terrible play call, terrible design, and it's like, well, you know,
You do the best you can with what you got.
yeah. I mean, if you have Bron, you have a star, your play calls look good. Like when you had Embiid, your play calls look good.
Yeah.
Because he's going to score and make you look good. So I mean, talent wins at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I did have a comment. I think it was in my phone. So talk amongst yourselves, and I'll get to you when I get to you.
But I what was it, Eric?
Eric, yeah.
To his point, though, you know, I do think we need another small forward. I think we do need, because, you know, that was kind of my push for Jackson, was the need for a high-end small forward. You got Rocco there. You know, Gerald Henderson, you know, that's his, I guess, natural position. Ben's probably going to play it, but he's not going to do it on the defensive end, you know. So, yeah, I mean, you still do need a small forward. It's just a matter of, yeah, I agree. It's not Iggy.
I mean, if understood, and I think if
that's why we're talking Gordon Hayward all the time.
Right, but I mean, if you were to create a Sixers call it a depth chart right now, you look at your point guards, okay? You've got Ben and TJ. You go to the 2, you got Fultz, Bayless, Stauskas. You go to the 3, you got Rocco, Henderson. You go to the 4, you got Dario and some combination of Okafor and Holmes. And then at 5, you got Embiid and some combination of Okafor and Holmes. So there's still a need for depth.
Yeah.
And you need that. You need another 3 and another 4. You could win this season with the backcourt that you have now, but you need another 3 and another 4.
And I think positions are going out the window.
Agreed. It's going to be positionless basketball.
The more we move forward. But yeah, you do need to be deeper. Justin Henschel on YouTube, Rocco easily should have made all defensive first team.
Well, if he finishes 4th in Defensive Player of the Year,
you would think that would.
You would think it would put him in the top 5 defensively.
Yeah, and I'm not a Rocco guy per se.
But there's logic.
But there's logic, and yes, I agree.
Yeah.
He should.
You're not a Rocco guy, but you're a logical guy.
Yeah, I'm a logical guy. And listen, if he plays well this year and continues the way he played the second half of the year, then I'll continue he'll grow on me. I have no issue with him, but just don't put him in. You know, he doesn't have to be in a picture.
Yeah.
Like you're not. We shouldn't be upsetting the masses.
We're not calling them the Freds now because of Rocco.
Yeah.
You know what though? That's great. That is great. But I will say this about him: it took him 41 freaking games to learn how to do it. But what happened last year? So I think he finally figured out that his outside shot wasn't consistent enough, and he was going to have to bring other things to the table. So that he started D'ing up, and he started going to the hole. And when he started creating offense for himself by going to the basket, and defenders would take 2-3 steps off of him, then all of a sudden his outside shot started falling.
It's amazing how
and it's yeah, exactly. That's what I was just going to say. It's amazing how this shit works. when your game's not one-dimensional.
Yep.
TT Ballin on YouTube, bring back Ilyasova.
It's not horrible.
It's not horrible. But my issue with it is, like, the guy's been on, 4 teams last year?
Yeah.
Or 5? How many teams was he on last year? 4, at least 4. I'm not saying anything wrong with him, but there's a reason.
There's a reason
why he goes on a merry-go-round around the NBA.
Well, I think with him, though, he had a team-friendly contract.
Well, I agree with that, too, but still 4? Nobody said you should stay.
Yeah, this guy's a keeper.
Yeah, like 4 teams. So 3 teams throughout the year was like, And then
Oh, okay, but here's the thing. Well, let's back up the train for a second on this one.
Yeah.
Because if JoJo doesn't get hurt, the Sixers don't trade him.
Maybe. I still think they were looking to just get something back for him regardless.
I agree with that, but I think once Embiid got hurt, Ilyasova became part of the tank.
Well, no, because the reason they traded him was for contract reasons.
Right.
Because he wanted big time money. He wasn't reasonable on the amount of money he wanted. So
yeah, but they didn't have to re-sign him. They could have just played out the season with him.
No, but that's what turned them off and said, well, we're just going to get what we can get for you.
Get something for
that
him.
was Colangelo's thought process, and that was like, okay, we're going to give you a team friendly deal or a deal relevant for you, bud. You've been on 2 teams before us. I mean, you think we're going to max deal you?
Yeah.
Or mini max deal you? It ain't happening, Ersan. But so I think that's the reason for that. But I don't hate it. I mean, he's a guy, but then he limits Dario's minutes in a way. But they could both. I don't need him. I'm looking for more of a 3.
All right.
Yeah.
If you want to talk positions, right? Justin again, keep Rocco and TJ because they are super clutch with game winners. No, they both are definitely on this team.
Yeah.
Going into this year.
For nothing else other than depth. Just that.
Yeah.
Plus what they bring. I'm saying they do provide.
Rocco's a starter. TJ's a depth guy, but they're both here.
I think TJ starts the year
Ooh, dude.
just till Fultz gets his feet wet. Just starts the year.
Listen to me. Would you listen to me?
And Fultz comes.
Would you listen to me?
They don't play the same position, though.
Fultz is – yeah.
Just listen. Again, right? Are you okay? Are you freaking okay?
People ask me this all the time.
I will burn the Wells Fargo. People will burn the Wells Fargo to the ground if he ain't on the court opening night. And are you kidding me? You think they're going to announce the starting 5 the first night at the Wells Fargo, and they're leaving out the number 1 pick that he's traded up for? Would you know big business? Would you stop it? Would you stop?
I was just going to say.
You want to say preseason game 1?
No,
yes, we'll go there.
Oh, I'll give you that. Yeah.
No, I'm not asking for it.
I'll give you that.
I'm not asking for it. He starts preseason game 1
preseason.
too.
It's just again, it's
so you're starting preseason.
It's the
and
NBA.
You're going to take him out.
I'm not saying he plays more minutes than him. I'm just saying to start the year as his rookie point guard.
I don't care.
But he's not going to run point. Ben's going to run point. He's going to run off the ball.
Yeah, but.
And you can't have McConnell running off the ball.
Well, no, that's why. I mean, all right, so I don't know.
No, you know.
You know what? You were having a great show until you started getting on the McConnell love wagon.
I like McConnell just for his leadership. But I think he does bring something to it, a tenacity that's starting 5 that I just don't know that Markelle can provide right off the jump.
Well, he better.
Right off the jump.
Well, guess what? Because listen.
I mean, sink or swim.
No,
start him. Let's
go.
You
sound like Matt Clintack. I mean, you sound like trust the process 10 more years. I mean, I can't deal with this right now. And I don't think anybody out there can. For the fan, by the fan, Greg, be realistic. Markelle Fultz is starting in your opening lineup somewhere, okay? When them things get announced, game 1 at the Wells Fargo. Right. You want to wager that one?
We'll wager it.
Oh, I'll put the house. I'll put the whole goddamn business on it. that Fultz is starting game 1.
Oh, shit. We got video documentation on this.
The whole thing is yours if he ain't starting. And if he's not, Brian Colangelo is a piece of garbage.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
And there's something bigger. But you don't trade up for a guy. You don't trade up for a guy who can walk into the league and drop you 20 right now and not start him.
Yeah.
Why is it you just
I agree.
What do I get?
I agree with your thought process.
What do I get?
I don't think it's the way it is.
What do I get?
I don't have anything.
I don't have really anything.
I don't have jack.
A bunch of things that I thought.
Look, you know how all the kids these days are just fond of the social media response. Delete your account.
Yeah.
We're going to come up with this one for the show, and it's called Mute Your Mic.
Mute my mic.
Mute your mic.
Crazy shit
I know what
going
you're trying
down
to
on
say,
ATD
though.
radio at 10 to midnight. That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
We putting you to bed.
Subtle time check, too. Thanks, brother.
But to his point, though, like I see what you're saying, but it's different if you drafted a guy like in the lottery, like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Than
No,
it
I
is
mean,
for
you're,
one.
you're right. You don't trade up for that. I just think it's the NBA.
See my body shifting here.
Yeah, because he's going over
There's
that way.
bad vibe coming from that side.
I know what you're trying to play. What are you trying to play out? I mean, that's a slap in the face to your fans if he's not out there.
Yeah, I see. I agree.
And you're selling out the place game 1.
I mean, you sold all the tickets already.
Yeah, but how's he not like in that announcement? Like that's big for the Sixers to have him in that announcement, to have all these kids, to have Ben, Fultz, Dario, and JoJo all in that starting 5 that's announced. And Rocco will probably be, unless somebody signed.
Here's the only scenario where I see that actually works.
Oh.
And you're going to backhand me, and please don't.
No, I'm just going to
He's
slide
just
over.
gonna
to
slide
Greg now.
over.
Because I'm giving
Feel
you
him. He understands what I'm saying.
I'm not advocating this at all. But what I'm saying is, if there turns out to somehow be the minutes restrictions, and I hate that term, but if there turns out to be minutes restrictions on JoJo and Ben, and Brett comes up with this idea that, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Ben and JoJo on the floor at the same time, and I'm going to have Markel and Dario on the floor at the same time, so that I don't have a big drop-off from first team to second team. That scenario is where it could work, but Tommy, to your point, you don't draft a kid number 1 to not have him start opening night.
Yeah, and he's going to play like 36 minutes a game easy. So it's not like – it would be one thing if Fultz was on a minute restriction. You know what I mean?
He better not be.
No, but that's my point. And then you're trying to like put all these pieces together on
right.
restrictions. Then I could see him coming off the bench, to your point, to help the second team. But he's going to play enough minutes where even if he starts, he can still help. He'll still play minutes with that second team enough where it's not that big drop-off where now a guy like McConnell is getting more of like 8 to 10 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So you just –
Well, and we've also –
you know, he doesn't get big minutes, but, maybe later in games if Fultz isn't playing good enough days where, and you like McConnell to get up in a grill, maybe.
Right,
Different spots.
The 4 of us have all watched enough NBA basketball to also know it's very rare that your starting 5 is the 5 that finishes the game on the floor. I mean, it's what they call it a rotation. I mean, you usually will start the game with, whatever you feel is your best 5 to start a game. Isn't even necessarily always your best 5 players, but you usually end the game with your best 5 on the floor.
No, I agree. Yeah. I agree with that completely. He starts.
Yeah, I mean, I just had my coach's hat thinking of rotations.
No, I get what you're saying, but if he was on a restriction, I would agree with you more. But the fact that he can play 36, 38 minutes a game shouldn't be an issue there with this kid. All right, and now McConnell's a more of a 10-minute or 8-minute game. Then you don't need to worry about him playing with your second team because he is, and you don't have to worry about him late in games because he's going to be on the court because he's going to get rest here and there from TJ or whoever else rotates in for him, however that rotation is. And don't be surprised if you see TJ, him, and Ben on the court all at the same time. You're going to see that.
Yeah, you could.
I mean, you got a better chance seeing that and Rocco not starting than Fultz not starting.
Does that make that a push then?
Yeah, well, you can push it. Save the business. I'll take this push. I'll push that all day. I'll take.
You two are unbelievable.
What do I get, though? Can I get a hoagie or something?
Yeah, we'll go to Jimmy John's.
Yeah, during Hoagie Fest.
Jimmy John, did you see him on that boat? Dry humping the shark?
No, I didn't.
Well, you better go check ATD's Facebook. We better scroll a long time, but you'll get there. It's like dry humping a shark. Butt ass naked.
All right, we got 6 minutes left.
All right, Sixers and Flyers. What's your next team to win a championship? Quickly.
See, this is a tough one because
is it for you?
It is, and I'll tell you why. Because in terms of talent, I think it's the Sixers right now, but the Flyers. I mean, and Rob could jump in on this if he wants to as well, but I mean, they got a lot of talent coming up through their system. I mean, in terms of their system, they're probably competitive with the Phillies in terms of talent ready to take that next step. Plus the draft. I mean, what was it, Rob? 227 and 35.
Yeah, it's 35 in the second round.
Okay,
absolutely.
that could all crack the lineup this year. And they get in as the A seed and they have a hot goalie. You never know.
Yeah.
Like I'm of the opinion that in any given year, if you're comparing Phillies versus Flyers, Eagles versus Flyers, Sixers versus Flyers, the answer could always be the Flyers,
Yeah, 'cause it's
unless
easier.
they're just abominable. So I'm going to go Flyers, but I hope it's the Sixers.
I don't think it's necessarily easier, but I think there's more parity in the NHL
True story.
to where there's not the hierarchy that you have the high end and the low end.
Just look at the playoffs and how they played off this year. NBA was so lack of competition to NHL's high competition. It's a lot. I mean, I get your point, Mike. You get that hot goaltender a la the Kings.
Right.
You know, not too long ago. Anything's possible as an 8th seed. But, you know, Tom earlier on the show said it. You have possibly who could be the best player in this league and Embiid, if not the best player. Now you have all these pieces around them, healthy for the most part. They could cruise through the East.
Well, thank you, because you just everything you said tied in. I was going to say that exact same thing, because what you said is, and what we're talking about is a star-driven NBA, a super team-driven NBA. Well, if you look in our backyard, there's 4 pups here ready to go. So I'll put my money on these 4 kids staying together and doing something special than waiting on Nolan Patrick, who was drafted 2 overall and might not even be on the team to start. You know what I mean? Like that.
Exactly.
That shit drives me crazy. Then trade the goddamn pick. Then trade the pick. If you ain't ready at 2, if you ain't ready at 1 or 2 in any draft, trade the goddamn pick. Trade it. Trade it. I'm not Mr. Hex. He's a goddamn genius. I ain't on that belief. Until that C's ripped off Giroux, I ain't on that belief at all. Because if he knew what the hell he was doing, you got a captain who's soft. Doesn't show up and start. Don't get me going. We'll go to 1 o'clock. We'll go 1 o'clock. We'll go 1 o'clock. Because he's not a captain. He's not a leader. He's a guy. He's a good player. But when you put a C on a guy who isn't C worthy, it hurts his game. If he was an A, you'd see better night than night out of Claude Drew.
He was actually a better player before he became the
Yes,
captain.
yes.
You're not
And
wrong.
nobody in this stupid organization, in this overly loyal, still organization, has ever taken anything away from anybody. And if they do, they give you something better.
Whoa, hold on, bro. I got veins coming out the side here, man.
Because I'm so tired of it.
Easy.
Because
Easy.
the peaches and cream in this city, when it comes to the Flyers, you could never do anything wrong. It's never, barely ever will you hear somebody really come out and say, yeah, the Flyers, they did that wrong. They did it wrong. So that's
You know what?
take.
We could do a whole show on that, too,
Yeah.
because I have an entire theory on this. But
Right.
let's
To Tom's point really quickly, it'll be my last point, is that you got talent that matches, that's comparable to the Sixers' talent, but aren't ready to play right now. A lot of experts are saying Nolan Patrick can go game 1 next year. No, he can't. He's under 200 pounds at 6'3". He'll get killed. He's coming off a sports hernia injury. You got guys like Konechny that will contribute this year, but Ob Kubel, Pascal Labarge, Cole Bardreau, these are all future stars in this league. So I don't want to disrespect my Flyers. They will be good and they will be competitive. Not next season. It'll be the Sixers.
all right.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we're going this season, yeah, I'll take the Sixers. But I think if we're going 2-3 years down the road, I just think I think the Flyers, just because I think the Sixers are going to face other competition that can knock them
flipped that.
down.
But I think it's
I
blind.
totally flipped
But
that.
I think it's blind. I think that's blind faith. I think any time anymore, when in any city where we talk prospects and we talk unknowns, I think it's BS. I think it's unknown. What we know about the Sixers right now is you got guys who can play.
Yeah.
You got who could be one of the dominant players in the NBA. That's a known. Give me a guy on the roster right now for Philadelphia Flyers that's superstar talent. I'll wait. And don't give me Ghost. Don't give me G, because they ain't.
Wayne Simmons.
He's good. He's not superstar. He's damn good
I think
player.
I think he took that step last year.
Not superstar.
Konechny, possibly this kid Patrick, or even Morgan Frost, who they traded up for Shen in that deal.
The movie.
27th. He could be pretty
Movie
sneaky.
Morgan
Movie.
Frost.
Isaac Ratcliffe, too, is a wild card.
But you know what I'm saying, though? They're all unknowns, though, right, Rob? Because they're what we project like we do for the same thing with the Phillies.
Right.
Like in hope that, this guy's special down there. But we've seen Embiid play.
Right. I test.
Yeah, so it's like I'm going blind faith, like what do we do with the Phillies all the time? It's blind faith because, you go out and watch a ton of it. But it's all what are the experts saying? Where are we, Baseball America? Where are we in terms of all 32 teams? Where are we stack up in terms of our farm system, right? And it's all got us this blind belief that guys like Crawford will be good when he's not good right now. Or, you know what I mean? So you buy in the names and this and that, but until I see it day one, I can't. I'll go with what I see over the hopeful, because that's what it's became. And I'm sorry to be Negadelphia right now, but it's just been
the truth.
I don't think it's Negadelphia. I just think it's fact.
And I just think for the Flyers, like, it's been a couple of years where you hear about kids and how good they are, and it's like, well, where? And I like Konechny, and I like Provorov. I like.
I didn't even say Lindblom too, who's a Swedish kid. That this could be a very talented sniper-driven team, and that's what they need. They got enough playmakers. Drew can be a playmaker, especially you can bump him down at the second line if Patrick's
now
as
you're
good
good
as
hockey
they
team.
can be.
Now you're good hockey team.
Right. Or even possibly move him to a wing too and take the pressure off of him, because to Drew's defense, teams just isolate on him and take him out of the game.
Yeah, because he's smaller and it's easier to do it too.
Right.
But he needs talent around him.
So they're drafting big now, some big boys.
Yeah,
which is great.
Well, I just love when I hear they didn't draft, like when Samuel Moran, who could be a really good player. But I remember my one buddy like, oh, he'll knock your head off. I'm like, when we drafted him at that point, I'm like, are we done with that?
Those days are over. Yeah.
I need a guy. Can he skate?
Yeah.
Actually, but what's great
But that's
about
what
it,
they're
though,
doing better. I
is
give
if
Hextall credit on that.
If
They're
you
getting
watch
speedy, faster
right,
guys
but if
finally.
to that point, though, the guy you're talking about, Moran, if you watch the video on him, their coaching staff in the Lehigh Valley was real smart with him because, yes, he can knock your head off. He can do it legally or he can do it with the fists. But what they do with him is on the power play, they pronger him. They stick him. He starts at the point and he comes right up the slot and then gets camped out in front of the net. So as they rotate the puck around, now all of a sudden it's got like the Chris Pronger, like big body, him, Pronger, Chara, these guys that, they'll just camp out in the crease. And he winds up getting tip-in goals on the power play as a defenseman. Smart.
It is. Okay, so go Phils real quick, right?
All right, so my thing with the Phils is if you look at it big picture, I think for a while the obvious choice was Hernandez. Now, forget it. He's injured. He's off the table. Then you had to look at Kendrick. And I still think it could have been Kendrick had he not been on the verge of going on the DL again. I mean, the guy's hitting 350.
Yeah.
So then the quote-unquote sexy pick then becomes Nishek because everybody has to have a representative, and the guy's given up, 2 earned runs the entire season.
Yep.
But for me, I think it's got to be Altair. I mean, the guy's on pace to hit 285 to 290 with 30 homers and 100 RBIs. And I think his mental makeup is such that he's not going to be the next Don Brown. So I think it's either Nishek or Altair. For me, it's Altair.
I'm going Nishak, but that could all change because he could be traded next week. If same thing with Kendrick. I mean, I think Kendrick is the obvious offensive choice.
I think there's a chance he makes it because he plays more spots.
But, again, he's about to go to DL.
Yeah, he's about to go to DL. But if he wasn't going to, I think he'd make more sense for –
you could put him anywhere.
You could put him anywhere.
In the outfield.
Because the outfield's loaded, obviously. So that's what hurts Altair a little bit because there's so many guys out there. But, you got to take somebody. If Nishak's still here –
I don't think these guys get moved before the All-Star break. I think they could get moved during the break or coming out, but I don't think they get moved before.
Fair enough. They use the break to sort of,
No,
I hit the reset button.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm just saying, I think it's
it's
if he's
possible.
still here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's my guy.
I could see Nishek just because you need a guy for an inning.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Lane Gaines has been lights out. I mean, he was a Team USA guy.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was
going
to reference the same thing with the World Baseball Classic. Give him a little reward for that.
We're on the same page there then.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, Altair's had a good year, even though to me it's been like, oh, man, I didn't think he was going to be good. I thought he was going to be just banged up too much.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to be a guy.
Yeah, but he's
well, I think when he stays healthy, he's a player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His big thing is availability. This year he's got it, and he proved he could play a little.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, and we talk about eye test and seeing it on the field before we make decisions over what's down in the system. He showed so far, but again, continue it. And good thing for Philly right now, Herrera's came out of it a little bit, so good stuff. All right, for Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the PM.
ATDRadio.com. Thanks for listening. It's late. Tom Renault, Michael Maddock, Greg Malkovic, Rob Hovey on the ones and twos. Thank you, Gibson Mayer LLC, our certified public accountant. Make him yours, GibsonMayer.com. Soap Stash LLC, Scanzano Sports, Sports Outlet Inc., BMW Atlantic City. Whoever
Everybody.
else, everybody.
Peace
You wanna advertise?
out.
Call me. Late.